Hello, so what we're going to do in this video is just summarize the three key inverse trigonometric functions and their derivatives. So derivatives, derivatives of the inverse trig functions. So we've got our cos, our sine, and our tan. So we start with if we start with the derivative of our arcsine, I should say, sorry. So arcsine has a derivative of 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared. And the arcsine function, so that's defined for all x values with a modulus of less than 1. So the second derivative we got is the arccos function. So arccos of x, the inverse cos function. And that derivative we found was negative 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Again, defined for the modulus of x is less than 1. And again, that's because to get an arcsine function and an arccos function, we need to restrict the domain of the sine and the cos functions respectively. So we restrict the domain of the sine function between minus pi over 2 and pi over 2. We restrict the domain of the cos function between 0 and pi. And if we do that, then the arccos and the arcsine function are defined between minus 1 and positive 1. So that's that. And then when we differentiated the arctan function, so the inverse tan function, again, restricting the domain of tan between minus pi over 2 and pi over 2. And when we differentiated this function, we got 1 over 1 plus x squared, like so. And that function is defined actually for all x in the real numbers. So for all x values in the real numbers, mic back. So for all x in the real numbers, this arctan function is defined, and so we have a defined derivative. So yeah, that's a summary of those derivatives.